Though the readings on this podcast might be Aries Aquarius, the language and themes can be fiery as Leo. On this episode, we're exploring the Moon Maven of Lunar Living, Meliea Black's July 2024 Oracle reading from the Soul Trees deck featuring the Communication card. Hey y'all, I'm Grace, and this is Mediocre Mystic, the podcast where we explore how mediocre makes the world go round and how mediocre works in mysterious ways. Thanks so much for joining me and Meliea. Please take a moment to subscribe, follow, rate, and review Mediocre Mystic on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or any of the platforms where you find your podcasts.
And then our last card for this reading is the July card, which is communication. I have a feeling by July, with this being an election year, communication is going to be a hot fucking mess. So it's not surprising to me that this card is coming up. So the question we want to ask ourselves under the July new moon is, what is the kind of communication I am listening to? What is the kind of communication I am putting out there? Because what we want to do is think connection. We want to let our communication be connecting. Now, does that mean that we just don't say anything that would offend anybody? Or no, that's not even possible. But what it means is that the intention behind my words, my actions, the things that I do that communicate to other people, the intention behind those is compassion, understanding, education, knowledge. The intention is a good one, right? The intention is not to insult someone, to try to shock them into seeing the light, right? That is like passive-aggressive communication. So in July, also look at the communication with those around you and those closest to you, and ask yourself, how can I make this communication with the people I love, the people who are in my inner circle, and the people that I see on a day-to-day basis? How can I make that communication stronger? How can I communicate more compassionately? How can I communicate to people in a way that really lifts them? Right? And again, that is not me saying that it's positive vibes only. It's not saying you can't have hard, difficult, challenging conversations, honest conversations with people. That's not what it is. It's the intention behind those conversations. You check in with that. What is my intention? Is my intention that I just want to tell this person what I think about them? Or is my intention that I'm going to share some difficult things for the purpose of improving this relationship, for the purpose of building a stronger bond, for the purpose of trust and honesty? So check in with the intention behind your communication.
I think about communication and intentionality with its use almost constantly, as a person who uses it both as a working tool and an art form. I love language in all its mediums and in all its lifetimes. When we're frustrated at a loss for words or overwhelmed by an ever-increasing amount of them, I've noticed a similar reaction. In those moments, we often try to brush the semantics of it all away. Yes, it's semantics, but I think that's worth entertaining rather than dismissing. The meaning behind words and how we use them matters. I encourage us all to stay with the conversation and keep using these bumbling letters and sounds, signs and gestures that have been evolving as long as we've been on this planet, to hang in there and come to an even greater expression of ourselves and broader understanding of one another. I truly want this space to be a big tent, allowing perspectives from all sides to be considered, creating that connective communication for community. We talk a lot about the things we're exploring and learning and how they impact those things we hold sacred, both individually and collectively. A very few core things will be black and white. Most of the time, we'll be living in the gray somewhere, whether when we're on our own or when we're together. mixed within the magical rainbow of our diversity. I think the 3 intentions Meliea offered us will help us to protect the tent from being torn down, to make it stronger with each repair as we commit to understanding, and help us build a better tent with new ideas, letting go of old ones that no longer serve us as we grow in knowledge, and the guiding principle ensuring success is compassion. The golden rule, perhaps the oldest, most sage wisdom of all humankind. You know what I love even more than working with language to grow together? I love it when something is so profound that language fails us, and we must find another way to communicate, with a look, a sound, or a touch. And then there are those thin space moments when only a pause of presence will do, when you feel time cease and all of your being senses the divine. Though rare, it's these moments that allow us to connect deeply with all around us and expand those intentions of understanding, knowledge, and above all, compassion for ourselves and others. As always, I'll leave you to ponder Melia's question to us and invite you to let us know how you're answering it. How can I make the communication with those I love more uplifting, especially around difficult topics, for the purpose of building a stronger bond through trust and honesty? Now that you've heard from Meliea and me, I want to hear from you. How's the month of July treating you? Call or text me at 980-355-9665. Email me at mediocremysticpod@gmail.com. Visit mediocremystic.com and check out the show notes for links to social media and references from this episode. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review Mediocre Mystic on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or any of the platforms where you find your podcasts. If you'd like to hear Melia's story, go listen to her episode in season 2022 and learn how her near-death experience changed everything, from deconstructing her fundamentalist evangelicalism to reconstructing her life, standing firmly in her own truth. Until then, may the phases of the moon wane your pains and wax your joys to the max.